They say revenge is a dish best served cold. In my case, it was served with a side of real estate listings and a very expensive bottle of wine. My stepmother never saw it coming, but then again, she never really saw me at all. I'm Olivia Martinez, 32 years old, and this is the story of how my stepmother's greed led her to make the biggest mistake of her life. My mother opened Bella Luna when I was just 5 years old. It wasn't just a restaurant, it was her dream come true. A piece of her heart served up on hand-painted plates in the heart of what was then a struggling neighborhood. She'd saved every penny, worked 3 jobs, and finally managed to buy the old brick building that would become her legacy. Remember, mi amor, she'd tell me as I helped her roll pasta in the kitchen. Success isn't just about making money, it's about building something that matters, something that brings people together. The restaurant thrived under her care. Even as a child, I could see how she transformed not just the building, but the entire street. Other businesses started opening nearby, drawn by the steady stream of customers who came for my mother's famous risotto and stayed for her warm smile and genuine hospitality. What no one knew, not even my father, was that Mom was quietly buying up other properties on the block whenever they became available. She'd learned early on that owning your own space was the key to security in the restaurant business. By the time I was 15, she owned nearly half the block. Then came the accident. It was a rainy night, and the roads were slick. Mom was driving home from the restaurant when another car ran a red light. She never had a chance. I was devastated. Dad was lost. The restaurant, her pride and joy, sat closed for months while we tried to figure out what to do. I wanted to keep it running, to honor her memory, but at 16 I was too young to take over. That's when Patricia entered our lives. She started as Dad's grief counselor, all sympathetic smiles and understanding nods. Within a year, she was his wife and my stepmother. She immediately took an interest in the restaurant, not in the recipes or the regulars or the staff who were like family, but in the books and the deeds and the paperwork. We need to modernize, she'd say, pushing for changes that would have made Mom cringe. Update the image, raise the prices, attract a better class of customer. I went away to college to study business and real estate development, determined to learn everything I needed to know to protect Mom's legacy. Meanwhile, Patricia slowly changed everything about Bella Luna, the menu, the decor, even the name. By the time I graduated, it was unrecognizable. What Patricia didn't know was that before Mom died, she'd set up a trust. All those properties she'd bought, they were placed in my name, to be managed by a trustee until I turned 30. The restaurant building itself was left to Dad, but everything else, nearly the entire block, was mine. I kept this information to myself, watching and waiting as Patricia's true nature revealed itself. She wasn't content with just changing the restaurant, she wanted to sell it, convinced that the neighborhood's rising property values meant a quick payday. Dad resisted at first, but Patricia was persistent. Think about it, darling, she'd say, we could retire, travel the world, why stay tied down to this old place? I got a job at a prestigious real estate development firm, earning a reputation for smart investments and strategic planning. Patricia assumed I was just another mid-level employee, never bothering to read the articles about the rising star in commercial real estate that occasionally featured my name. Then came the night that changed everything. Patricia invited me to dinner at what used to be Bella Luna, now rebranded as the Gilt Edge. She was practically glowing with self-satisfaction as we were seated at what used to be Mom's favorite table. I have wonderful news, she announced, not even waiting for our drinks to arrive. I've finally convinced your father to sell this old place. You wouldn't believe the offer we got, $2 million. Can you imagine? I took a slow sip of water, keeping my face neutral. That's interesting. When does the sale close? Next week. Patricia was practically bouncing in her seat. The buyers want to tear it down, build some modern high-rise. It's about time this neighborhood got an upgrade. Does Dad know about the demolition plans? I asked quietly. Patricia waved her hand dismissively. He doesn't need to know all the details. He signed the papers. That's what matters. Besides, it's not like your mother's legacy means anything anymore. The neighborhood's changed. It certainly has, I agreed, pulling out my phone. Would you like to know why? I opened my real estate portfolio app and slid the phone across the table. Patricia's eyes widened as she took in the property values, the ownership records, the development plans. I don't understand, she said, her voice losing its triumphant tone. Let me explain, I said, taking back my phone and pulling up tomorrow's real estate listings. See this entire block? Notice who owns it? Patricia's face went pale as she saw my name listed as the owner of property after property. That's impossible, she whispered. Mom was smarter than you gave her credit for, I said. She knew this neighborhood would boom eventually. That's why she started buying property here 25 years ago, and she made sure it would all go to me when I was ready. But the restaurant sale. Oh, you can sell the restaurant building, I nodded, for $2 million. But you should know that I'm announcing tomorrow that the entire block is being developed into a luxury retail and dining complex. The estimated value after development? $50 million. Patricia's hands started shaking. We could partner. No, I cut her off. We couldn't. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to buy the restaurant building from whoever your buyers are, probably for about triple what they're paying you. And then I'm going to restore it to exactly what it was when Mom ran it. It'll be the centerpiece of the new development. Your father won't allow it. Patricia sputtered. He'll contest the trust. Dad already knows, I said calmly. I told him everything last week. Why do you think he agreed to sell so easily? He knows the restaurant will stay in the family, the real family. As if on cue, my father walked into the restaurant. He joined us at the table, sitting down next to me. Is it done? He asked quietly. I nodded. I just told her. Patricia looked back and forth between us, realization dawning on her face. You planned this? No, Dad said. You did. Every time you pushed to change things. Every time you dismissed Maria's memory. Every time you treated our family's legacy like your personal cash cow, you planned this. We just decided to let you show your true colors before we showed ours. I'm your wife, Patricia protested. You're my mistake, Dad corrected her. One I'm fixing now. The divorce papers will be delivered tomorrow morning. Patricia stood up so quickly she knocked over her water glass. You can't do this to me. Actually, I said, we can, and we are. Oh, and Patricia? You might want to hold off on spending that $2 million. The capital gains taxes on the sale are going to be substantial. She stormed out of the restaurant, leaving her untouched meal behind. Dad and I looked at each other and, for the first time in years, we both started laughing. Your mother would be proud, he said, squeezing my hand. She always said you had her head for business. And her sense of timing, I added with a smile. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. As predicted, the developers who'd agreed to buy the restaurant backed out when they learned they couldn't get the surrounding properties. I stepped in and bought the building for $6 million, far more than it was worth, but it was Mom's place. Some things are worth more than money. Patricia tried to contest the sale, the trust, even the divorce, but Mom's lawyers had done their work well. Everything was ironclad. She ended up with exactly what she deserved, her counseling practice and whatever she'd managed to save from the alimony Dad had been paying her. The renovation of Bella Luna took 6 months. I tracked down as many of the original staff as I could find, offering them their jobs back with significantly better pay and benefits. Mom's old recipes came out of storage, and the hand-painted plates were carefully restored. On opening night, the line stretched around the block. Many of our old regulars were there, sharing stories about Mom and how the restaurant had been the heart of the neighborhood for so many years. The rest of the development is coming along beautifully. We're carefully selecting tenants who share Mom's values, small business owners who care about community, not just profits. The high-rise that Patricia's buyers wanted to build, that space is becoming a public plaza instead, with trees and benches and a fountain where kids can throw pennies and make wishes. Dad's doing better now. He started smiling again, really smiling, not the forced expression he wore during his years with Patricia. He even started dating recently, a kind widow who owns a bookstore in the neighborhood and actually asks about Mom, wanting to know the woman who created such a wonderful place. Last week, Patricia drove by the restaurant. I saw her slow down, taking in the restored facade, the busy tables visible through the windows, the Bella Luna sign glowing warmly in the evening light. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered how she'd tried to erase Mom's memory. How she'd schemed to profit from our family's loss, how she'd dismissed everything that made Bella Luna special. The pity evaporated, replaced by satisfaction. You see, Mom taught me another lesson along with all those business insights. Karma has a way of sorting things out. Sometimes it just needs a little help with the timing. We're hosting a neighborhood celebration next month to mark the completion of the first phase of development. All the local business owners will be there, along with many of our longtime customers and friends. I've heard Patricia's been asking for an invitation. I sent her one along with a copy of the property values for the entire block, now estimated at closer to $75 million, just to remind her of what she lost by underestimating a daughter's love for her mother's legacy. Dad says I'm being petty, he's probably right, but as I sit in Mom's old office, looking out over the thriving neighborhood she believed in when no one else did, I think she'd understand. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just about getting even, it's about proving that love, vision, and patience are worth more than all the quick paydays in the world. The restaurant is full tonight, just like it used to be. The smell of Mom's recipes fills the air, and the sound of laughter and conversation echoes off the exposed brick walls. At one table, a little girl is helping her mother twirl pasta onto her fork, just like I used to do. In the end, Patricia's greed didn't destroy Mom's legacy, it helped restore it. Sometimes people's worst intentions can lead to the best outcomes. You just have to be patient, be smart, and never forget what really matters. Mom used to say that a good meal brings people together, but a great restaurant builds community. Looking around at what her vision has become, not just Bella Luna, but the entire neighborhood, I know she was right. And somewhere, I'm sure she's smiling. The development project continues to grow. We're adding affordable housing units above the retail spaces, just like Mom always talked about. The neighborhood is thriving, but we're making sure the longtime residents can stay and benefit from the improvements. Patricia still tries to take credit sometimes, telling people she was part of the revitalization plan, but everyone knows the truth. They remember the real visionary, the woman who believed in this neighborhood when it was struggling, who built something meaningful when others only saw potential profits. Last night, I found Mom's old recipe book while organizing the office. Inside the cover, she'd written a note I'd never seen before. To my Olivia, remember that the most valuable things in life aren't always listed on a balance sheet. Love, vision, and integrity will take you further than any amount of money, but just in case, I've left you a little something to help you protect what matters most. Love, Mom. She knew, somehow, she knew exactly what would happen and exactly what I would need to fight it. The neighborhood's changing, but this time it's changing the right way, with respect for its history and its people. The development project is becoming a model for other cities, showing how progress doesn't have to mean forgetting where you came from. And Bella Luna remains at the heart of it all, just like Mom always wanted. Some things are worth more than $2 million. Some things are worth more than $75 million. Some things, as Patricia finally learned, are priceless. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.